Hey y'all, it's your girl Katami Safia and I'm back. Alright, we're talking breastfeeding today. Let's get into it. I had to move from where I was because the sun just wasn't rocking with me. So I just swung over, got in my chair, and now we're about to have this conversation. So I decided that I wanted to breastfeed from day one. The moment I found out I was pregnant, I was like, oh yeah, I'm breastfeeding. Everybody was looking at me like, okay. I didn't really get good feedback at all when I was telling people that I wanted to breastfeed. And I think mainly it was because people were like, she don't know what she about to get herself into, God. I was like, listen, it's the natural way. That's how I want to do it. I'm gonna be a mom and I want to do it the most perfect way possible, because you know we always trying to be perfect parents, especially I guess your first go around. But my whole thing was I didn't know if I was going to be having more, so this might be my only go around. So I was like, I'm gonna do it how I want to do it, and this is what I want to do, and can't nobody tell me nothing. So I started to do research. I started to read up about it. Of course, I went and got the What to Expect When You're Expecting book, and I just wanted to see, you know, what everyone was saying about this whole breastfeeding thing. So it really didn't matter what I read because my mind was already set on I'm going to breastfeed my daughter. Like, that's what I'm doing. I would read certain things that would say, oh, you know, this can happen. Everybody's not able to breastfeed. Da, 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 da. Now I understand people not choosing taking that route. Maybe it might not be the best for them, but I didn't see why I should be afraid or worried about not being able to breastfeed my baby. When my daughter was first born, like throughout the whole pregnancy, they were constantly telling me that breast is best, da 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 da. So I'm like, okay, y'all talking what I want to hear. Okay, we on the same page. But then when she arrived, they were like saying she was starving because she wasn't latching and she wasn't this and she wasn't that. And I'm just like, yo, like she's 4 hours old. I mean, like what y'all want her to do? Like you want her to like start filling out applications for college? No, she's learning just like I'm learning. I mean, give the girl a break. Do you know after all of that talk about breast is best, this, that, and the third, they had the nerve to tell me, oh, well, you know, she's not latching and you're not producing enough milk, so go ahead and give her some formula. Huh? That had me tight. Like, I was mad as hell. But I stuck to my guns and I decided that no matter what, this is what I'm doing. And it was crazy because the advice and the information that people were giving me, looking back on it, maybe it was just a little bit of fear. So they're like, oh, you know, she could starve to death. Why would you say something like that to me? That's scary. Like, I don't want to be scared when I'm trying to nurture my baby. Long story short, she latched. So listen to this. I had read and heard so many things about how pacifiers are bad for baby. Listen, I'm a pacifier mom. I don't care. I pop right in that mouth. Pacifiers are a friend in this house. But me trying to be the perfect mom, I'm like, I'm not giving my baby no pacifier. Nah, you know, they say it's not good for them. I could give them nipple confusion. They won't latch, this, that, and the third. Guess what? She was yelling and screaming so much in that she was yelling and screaming and crying at the hospital so bad that her dad decided to give her a pacifier. Why did he do that? After that, she latched onto my breast and hasn't missed a meal since. Now, say what you want to say about pacifiers, but in my case, it helped and it worked. They even came into the room and was like, oh my God, is that a pacifier? No, you can't give her that. You can't give her that. Meanwhile, she's crying and y'all telling me to get rest. I mean, make it make sense. So we're like, well, yeah, gave her the pacifier. Now she's latching. I mean, hey, works for me. So don't be afraid to try it out, guys. I mean, like I said, I'm no scientist and I'm no health professional, but I'm telling you that once my child had a pacifier, from that day on, she has latched on with no problem. When it comes to breastfeeding, people are like super judgmental. I don't know what it is. Like, they be like, oh, why is she breastfeeding in public? Or, oh, her baby's too old. Or, oh, why are you minding my business? How about that? I breastfeed wherever I need to breastfeed. In public, with a covering, without a covering. Most of the time I don't cover myself because you know what? My baby don't like being covered. She likes to be free when she's doing her thing. And as far as I'm concerned, she comes first. She's eating just like everybody else around here is eating. Hey, you guys might not agree with me, but if you're out there and you feel judged when you're out and about trying to breastfeed and your child is ripping off the covering, just be free. Just be free. Go ahead and feed that baby. Who cares? First of all, nobody's looking at your breast, or at least shouldn't be looking at your breast in a sexual way when you're breastfeeding. If they are, they're weird as hell. It's a natural thing. I mean, why be mad about that? Don't worry about that. Do not let people push you into a corner when it comes to being super mom. This is what you got to do. This is what you have to endure. You might be out and about. Your baby might start crying. Pop it out. You got to do what you got to do. Sometimes even family be like, girl, why you so mad? I decided that I was going to exclusively breastfeed my daughter for at least 6 months. And that was also recommended by her pediatrician. At first, it really wasn't so bad. But as she got older, she definitely became more demanding and definitely wanted it more. In all, I exclusively breastfed her for 6 to 7 months. And then I started inviting other foods into her diet. She's currently getting ready to be 1 year old and she's still on the breast. We'll get to that next. Let's get into the pros and cons of breastfeeding. So remember, I'm speaking from my own experiences, people, and I know I'm not the only one who has gone through these things, so I'm pretty sure you guys can learn something. Let's start with the pros. So, why you should try to breastfeed your baby is because it's the most natural, what am I talking about? It's the most natural thing for your baby. I mean, you don't have to worry about any contamination. You don't have to worry about any, ingredients that you can't even pronounce being in this milk. You don't have to worry about anything. You're feeding your baby from your body, and that is the most natural way to do it. I'm going to tell you guys right now, knock on wood, my daughter's about to be 1 and she hasn't had one cold. She barely has even had a runny nose. I'm telling you guys, she is strong as a little pony and she is healthy as hell. Every time she goes to the doctor, they're like, yo, your daughter is mad advanced. Are you still breastfeeding? I'm like, yeah. They're like, go mom, go mom. And I'd be like, yes. Now, I'm not saying that any mother is better than another mother just because you didn't breastfeed. You get it how you think is best for your baby. But I'm telling you guys what worked for me. The doctor will tell you straight up to do it as long as you possibly can. So when people be like, oh, she's too old. Oh, she's 2 years old. And I can't lie. I feel like moms now are just wanting to do things more holistically. Is that just me? I realize that more people have the desire to breastfeed, the desire to feed their children organic and different things like that. And it's because of the information that is available to us that might not have been as available when, our parents were having us, So when you breastfeed your child, bonding is on another level. Me and my daughter are like this. I don't think anything will ever break that. And not to say that we wouldn't be close if I hadn't breastfed her, but it's just something about it. It's a different type of closeness that you have with your little one. And it just, I don't know, you just have this warm feeling inside like you're doing something super right, when you're breastfeeding them and they feel safe in your arms and they're like, oh, look at my mom just sacrificing her boobies for me and just giving me herself, it's like, it's another level of nurturing, for me anyway. Breastfeeding is a constant battle. And when I say that, I don't mean with you and your baby. I mean with you and other people and their opinions. This is when you have to know exactly what you signed up for when it comes to breastfeeding. It's extremely demanding. And people are going to use that to try to make you second guess your choices. If you made a choice to breastfeed your child, then that means you probably did quite a bit of research and you know kind of what comes with it. So people will say, oh, she's going to get too attached to you, or oh, nobody else can feed her, or oh, she needs rice. She doesn't need any of that. The reason why she doesn't need that is because I have already made the decision that she's going to be exclusively breastfed for X amount of time. That means mama, brother, sister, cousin, whoever it is, you have to stand your ground. You've done the research. You carried the baby, you gave birth to her, and you are now raising her and making decisions for her life. If you think that this is what's best for her, then you stick to it and you do it no matter what. Feeding a baby, regardless of whether it's on the breast or in a bowl, it's bonding time. And unfortunately, when you're breastfeeding, other people don't get to bond with the baby in that way. It just is what it is. You're the only one who can feed her. So they'll have to find other ways to bond. or they can feed the baby pumped milk if you're pumping. Speaking of pumping, pumping is the most annoying thing ever. In my experience, pumping is the number one thing that I hate about having a baby. It makes you feel like a straight up cow. I'm not lying. I feel like a cow when I'm pumping milk. I hate pumping. I hate pumping. I hate pumping. Okay? So when people be like, oh, just pump milk. I'm gonna tell y'all why I hate. Let me let me tell you why I hate pumping. I'm gonna spend a little bit of time on this because pumping is annoying for so many reasons. It just makes the whole breastfeeding thing harder than it already is. Okay. So the first reason why pumping is so annoying is because, first of all, you feel like a cow when you're pumping. And second of all, it's almost like having two babies because you got to feed the baby on your breast and then you got to find time to pump too. So you're kind of like doing two feedings. The third most annoying thing about pumping is that you never know what you're going to get. It's like a box of chocolates. Fourth, and probably the most annoying thing about pumping milk is that nobody understands. I mean, women, men, people who just had a baby last week, they don't get it. They don't understand that your breast isn't a faucet. This milk doesn't just come out on cue. No, you gotta